It's his second time through and he hasn't even taken a hit yet. He's a wizard.
Do you realize how many outside systems I've gone into? How many programs I've appropriated?
You were recruited by the Star League to defend
the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada.
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
Just keep your Power Gloves off her, pal, huh?
Damage report! Guidance system out. Auxiliary steering out. Defense! She won't answer the helm. What do? We die.
Welcome to the Gamers Must Die podcast. I'm your host, Ben Malahan, here with Jared Riley.
Hello!
And our new co-host, Alex Morrow.
Hello.
Is that the right way to pronounce your last name?
Close enough.
Close enough. What's the right way?
I usually say Moreau, but you know the majority
Moreau?
says Morrow.
Well, it's not spelled Moreau.
I don't like Moreau.
That's fucked up.
You're for now on here, Alex Morrow.
Okay, I accept it.
For now on, you're Alex Murder.
Well, it's like the Laura Croft and Lara Croft argument.
There's an argument about that?
Her name is supposed to be Lara.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Yes,
Jesus Christ.
yes, it is. But nobody wants to fucking say Lara.
No, of course. No, first of all, I didn't want to know that was a thing. Now that I do, I'm really pissed.
I'm sorry.
We just ruined the whole mood for the podcast. Let's
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
start
start
over.
over. Actually,
Hold
no,
on.
let's bring in the next person over here. We had some other people lined up for this job. Well, today we're going to be talking about various things. We'll get to a little news in a bit. First, though, kind of talk about some stuff that's been going on so far this year. The big thing is there's this big movement now to not pre-order games. Have you heard about this?
I have not heard of this.
I've heard a lot of bitching about this.
Okay, so what have you heard? What's your perspective, I guess?
It basically removes incentives for companies to produce good games because they have assured buyers, and is somewhat unfortunate.
So you actually used to work at GameStop for a while.
Yes.
And was pre-ordering like a big thing? Did most people pre-order games?
It's hard to put big into relative terms, but it was definitely pushed upon us. Like, we didn't actually receive any sort of rewards from the numbers of pre-orders that we managed to get, but you did receive criticisms if you didn't get enough pre-orders.
Okay, so that's weird. So
yeah.
so you didn't have an incentive, but you got criticized if you didn't do it.
That's pretty much the shit show that is GameStop.
Jesus, that's weird. Because I always figure when one of them is, bothering me, hey, do you want to pre-order this? Do you want to pre-order this? I figure that they're going to get some sort of bonus or something.
No, there's no commission or anything. It's the same thing with those little power-up rewards cards.
Yeah.
They're just like, we see your numbers aren't as good as they usually are this week, and you're like, well, nobody wants your shitty cards.
So
and they're like, yeah, but we're going to need you to up that a little bit.
Most companies really do that sort of thing. I mean,
who's the we here? Who's the we? It's like your direct manager who's saying that?
Yeah, store manager,
and then
district manager.
corporate's on his ass to do it. Is that?
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. That's weird to me. It's just weird what human beings do when they're like in a manager position, like what they can bring themselves to actually tell other people to do. Because it would just kill me. It would eat me up inside to have to say that to somebody. Hey, by the way, your numbers are a little low, a little lower than usual.
Especially if you're not going to compensate them for doing a good job. Well, I should say every so often they'll throw like a very rare reward out there. I worked for GameStop for like 2 years, and I had like some of the best numbers in the district. And then eventually they gave me a tiny like 1 inch by 1 inch pin and a $10 gift card.
Yeah.
And they're just like, congratulations on doing such a great fucking job for 2 years and having the best numbers in the district for 2 years. Here's a 1 inch pin.
What was it made of? Like plastic, metal?
It was like a little tiny metal pin. Like, I've seen kids go to baseball leagues that get better pins at their little championship games. It was somewhat saddening.
It was supposed to be fulfilling. You're very ungracious for not liking it.
It also made all my coworkers hate me. So it...
Oh, they were jealous of the pin?
Yeah, I really didn't want the fucking pin.
I'd be pretty jealous too. I mean, pins are pretty sweet.
That's funny. So pre-ordering games, so you're against it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm against it too, but at the same time, I don't know, people are going to do it. We're never going to stop. The type of people who pre-order games are not going to stop pre-ordering games, I don't think. Like, there used to be a reason to, and it's because not enough copies of the goddamn game came out. Like, when the N64 was released, it was impossible to get copies of the good games.
Yeah.
And right now, the only thing they ever really have in shortage anymore or the the hardware itself, the consoles and stuff. By the way, if the headphones are bothering you, you take them off. You don't have to wear the headphones.
Oh, okay.
what
No,
about-
I'm doing just fine with them.
Right.
I mean, there's handheld games and stuff like that you can't really download.
No,
You
that's-
can though. There's the
that's
Nintendo
true.
eShop.
Yeah, so nowadays the most popular handhelds, well, I guess the only handhelds, the Vita and the 3DS. Most of the games are downloadable. There's still some games, like older games, you can't get, but everything new comes out on the eShop now for 3DS, I think.
I imagine there's still a subsect of people who still enjoy like having physical media as well. though.
I agree, but what I'm saying is that for the most part, there's no shortage. There's no shortage of those physical media anymore, even when they come out.
Really?
Yeah.
The purpose of pre-ordering now is basically just to gather statistics for different stores, like to see what sort of games companies should continue to produce.
Really?
Yeah. Like, you can also track a store's progress by how many pre-orders it has. So they'll, like, rank the stores in competition by how many pre-orders they receive, which is why you have different pre-order incentives between, like, Best Buy and GameStop.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just to kind of keep tabs on, like, who's selling what.
Right. Weird. Yeah, it's a weird whole thing because the things you get for pre-ordering usually suck. It's some shitty piece of DLC. It's like this weapon that's just totally useless,
Or, like, a dumb character skin.
Yep, exactly. This is totally lazy, but people are like, "Oh my god, I gotta get that fucking skin! Gotta pre-order this game."
What's it really hurting though? Pre-ordering.
It's not. No, here's what it's hurting: is that people, game companies, basically have an assured number of sales before they even have to produce a good game. Now, you could argue that those pre-orders are based upon them showing a good product or having a good reputation in the past, which is valid. But the argument against it is that when you pre-order games, when there's a million people who pre-order games, then a company like God, whoever the hell the company is behind the Master Chief Halo Master Chief Collection, the remake, it wasn't Bungie, it was another company who took it and did it.
Right.
Anyway, that game came out and it basically didn't fucking work. I mean, like
Totally
online,
broken.
Yes, completely broken. In fact, I had a game night scheduled with a friend. Yes, I said, yes, I'm 31 years old. I still do this. We blocked the night out. I brought over my Xbox One. He had his. We had two TVs. We're just gonna dual screen this Master Chief Collection all night. And it didn't work. So we were screwed. But that's my fault for not reading the internet before I went over there. So
why? That's crazy to do. Not beta test that game or whatever.
Who knows what the true story was behind it? Some people say they didn't beta test it. Some people say that the bugs weren't visible until at a large scale. Blah blah blah. To me there were so many bugs. They had to have known. So anyway, that's the argument, right?
Yeah, and even if a game isn't broken, like even if it functions perfectly, pre-ordering means that a bunch of customers are throwing their backs into this game before customer reviews have even come in for it.
Yeah.
So they're only reading reviews from like large websites, like big names that were able to preview the games. You don't get that word of mouth review experience. Like you don't get to listen to your buddy tell you how amazing the game is before you go out and buy it. So
I could have told people that 10 years ago. I've never pre-ordered a game.
Aren't you a special snowflake?
I am, because of that exact reason. Why would I'm not gonna get a game unless I know it's good for sure.
Oh bullshit! You went out and purchased
the one game.
it's going down now.
Battlefront. Was it Star Wars Battlefront 2?
Here's why I had to order Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh, why you had to?
Oh wait. So you ordered it? You didn't just purchase it on day one. You
I
pre-ordered.
don't know what I did.
Oh, okay.
I don't because
you're
I
full
was
of
dreaming
lies.
about that game.
Okay, you were dreaming about.
I was having dreams, literally. Dreams, because I love the first one so fucking much.
Yeah.
I literally dreamed about it. I just had to get it. Had to have it in my hands. I didn't even care if it was bad or not. I just had to have it.
You were just rolling in your bed like,
hold on.
Battlefront,
You just
yeah.
destroyed exactly what you were trying to say.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you
Yes,
just
you
you just
did.
described the exact type of person that you just made fun of.
A little hypocrisy never hurt anybody.
So the thing about this issue is I understand why people are trying to like do this petition thing, but it's just I don't know. To me, it's a waste of time because it's never going to go anywhere. People are going to keep pre-ordering, and at the end of the day, I feel like if a company has a good reputation and whatnot, and you really want to pre-order, I mean, whatever, go for it. I'm not like mad at people for pre-ordering. But it's interesting to hear the other side of it, what they do with the statistics and stuff like that.
I approve of the pre-order movement because although obviously it's not going to flip-flop everyone's mind, I think there are some people that are sitting on the fence that generally say, why not to pre-ordering?
Yeah.
And this might change their opinion. So it might have a little tiny bit of traction.
You're right. No, that's actually a good point.
There are a lot
Jesus.
of people who pre-order just because the awkward person sitting across from them the counter of GameStop is pressuring them to. And if they have a reason to not pre-order, it'll prevent them from it.
Did you have to like use your like feminine wiles a lot to like convince people to pre-order?
They wanted me to, but I don't think I'm particularly great with the whole feminine wiles thing.
Yeah.
My laugh is too gross, and I don't have enough cleavage. And
You're right. You
it's
do have a
like- it's
disgusting
all
laugh.
just-
Jared, try not to make her laugh. It's horrible.
That was pretty gross.
I just want to throw
Yeah,
up.
right?
Never do that again. I think in a world where people are really into like early access games, I don't think pre-ordering is a really big sin.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Early
God.
access games. So this is like a thing now where mostly indie developers. It's not like big name developers who do this, but indie developers pre-release their games.
Have there been any big name who've done this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, big indie names.
Yeah, big indie names. Yeah.
When you're a really big indie name, aren't you technically becoming like sort of a large company?
No, there's definitely still a distinction between big studio and.
Do you think Minecraft is still
Yeah.
indie?
Oh no.
No.
Okay.
Not especially not since it was sold, right? Wasn't it sold to Microsoft?
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, actually, we're going to talk about that in a bit. It was sold to Microsoft.
Shut up. We're going to talk about it later.
God, it's in the news. Shut up. You read the
God,
outline.
Alex.
So anyway, people now order these pre-release games, and we talked about this in one of your interviews, didn't we?
Mine,
It was
yeah.
hers,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So we're actually probably going to put your interview podcast thing up at some point. People can
Because
hear that.
we were
can
talking
hear
about
that
Darkest
discussion.
Dungeon.
That's
we talked
right.
about this in depth, didn't we?
We did. Yes. Maybe
I had no idea what early access was.
Maybe we'll just direct people to
Welcome
listen
to
to
the
that.
dark world
I'll
of
post
early
that next
access.
week.
It is a dark world.
But
I
it's
don't
like,
like it
this
at all.
big thing now where people just like they want their hands on the game as soon as they possibly can. They don't understand though when it's that early, it's barely a game.
They're paying for beta.
Paying for alpha, really.
Yep.
In
A
some
lot of
cases,
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even pre-alpha. Like some of them are just concepts, aren't they?
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah. Some of them are pretty darn bare from what I've seen. Why don't we go ahead and move right along to the news? So, Alex, you have the little tablet deal over there. What do you got for us in the realm
let me
of news?
see here. If I can get your little tablet deal to work. In the news today, critics admit to lowering scores for attention.
All right.
Would you like me to read the article?
Well, I mean, the headline does say a lot.
The headline is pretty self-explanatory. Like, game reviewers have been intentionally lowering the scores of big-name video games to get clicks.
So, this comes as no surprise, really. I mean, people are trying to, do different things to get views all the time.
Yeah. I mean, when your revenue is just ad revenue, like whether people like your article, whether they don't like your article is kind of irrelevant. It's all just about how many views you're getting. So
Right, exactly. That's very true. So, but the thing is, the weird thing to me about gaming journalism in general is that it's all funded by ads for the most part, and so they're ads for games that they're eventually expected to be, objective about and review. So the whole thing's just wonky to begin with. So that this doesn't surprise me, and frankly, it doesn't really bother me because anybody who actually pays attention to a review and knows, which reviewers know what they're talking about, which ones don't, really doesn't. If you look at a number to determine whether or not you want a game, then whatever, you deserve to get screwed over.
What are the specifics of this article again?
well, it's basically just there are some websites that are basically like clickbaiting their audiences by giving big popular games intentionally very low scores or lower scores than they're generally receiving or they generally deserve, just so that people can get mad and be like, oh, why did they give my favorite game a 6?
And then they'll
click
share
on
it. Yep.
And share it and be like, look at these fuckers over here and how they gave my favorite game a 6.
Right.
Or you have the people that are super counterculture and they're just like, oh yeah, I'm so glad they gave that game a 6. Oh, overrated piece of shit.
Right.
And then they share that within their social circle. But it's just sensationalism.
Yeah. So
And you said you
basically-
couldn't do voices.
Apparently I can.
Yeah. Right. So basically, it's just I don't know. It's just not a surprise to me.
It doesn't really bother me one way or the other, I guess.
Right, because who really cares what? Now the thing is, on the other side of it, somebody who has released a game and has had people review it, somebody who intentionally gave it a lower score than they thought it deserved just to get views, kind of pissed me off. Just hey man, I worked hard on this fucking thing. How about you not be a dick?
Gaming journalism in general is just full of so much fuckery. Like, you can get extra money for giving good games low scores, and you can get extra money for giving shitty games higher scores. Like, you can get paid by a company to give a game a great review. You can receive free merchandise, generate more views. So it's just like nobody's really being paid to do what they're supposed to do, which is provide accurate scores and accurate reviews.
Isn't user reviews a big thing for games these days? No.
Yeah,
but
bit more.
They're not. I mean, basically, let's say a game gets.
It's still more professional reviewers have more impact.
Oh yeah. So if a game gets like a 9 on like IGN or GameStop or
GameSpot.
I thought people are always worried about
GameSpot. Yeah.
GameSpot.
Some sort of score or something like.
What?
Metacritic score or something or what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Metroid.
I don't know how many people pay attention to Metacritic.
Oh, okay.
I do.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
A
Little bit.
But I do, more than anything, I like reading user reviews, which is like, I really like how Steam has sort of facilitated that.
Yeah. Well,
User
I'll
reviews are
also
really
say
accessible.
that there are some fuckers who make Steam reviews too.
That's very true.
Because I've had people who have made negative reviews for my game on Steam who have then turned around and emailed me ways I could get them to take the negative reviews down.
Oh,
As
that's
if we cared.
As if we cared about their stupid negative review.
The game's already like 80% positive, so
Yeah, and apparently 80% means 9 out of 10 because Google says 9 out of 10 on Steam.
it's
So they must have some fudging of the numbers there to take into account all the assholes who pull crap like that,
yeah.
So
I really hope that you send them like a helicopter dick gif in response or something.
I don't even respond anymore. It's just there's so many people out there who want to mess with you in various ways and whatnot. When you're a developer, it's just it's this weird power play thing. People just want to put you in your place, I guess is the best way to put it.
I just remembered the word for that scam. It's racketeering, isn't it?
Racketeering?
Racketeering, like when they put up the bad review and they're like, "Oh, give me money, or I'm not going to take it down."
Yeah, it sounds a little
It's like
formal
when
for what
people come
actually
up to you
goes
in the
on.
street and they're just like, "Do you want protection for your car?" And you're like, "What does that mean?" They're like, protection from people keying up your car.
Something might happen to it,
Yeah, and if you don't give them money, they key the shit out of your car.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, yeah, I guess you could call it that, but the thing is that it's just some fucking loser in his, parents' basement, or somebody who has mental issues, who's older, has mental issues, and whatever. A lot of
More
crazy-
likely to be younger and have mental issues these days. But
Either way, a lot of mental issues on the internet, especially in the gaming community. Okay, so what's up next in the news?
Let's see here. News. Oh, the Amiibo store. Yes. Nintendo is basically trying to get its shit together with the Amiibos.
Okay.
It's been a huge mess for a while now because they didn't really release a proportionate amount of certain figures to the demand. And other figures, they just saturated the market with it when nobody wanted to buy it.
Okay.
And
so
now,
there's no rhyme or reason behind it, essentially.
Well, it's just, I think they just set an arbitrary amount for them. I'm not sure. I haven't followed up on this. This is just speculation. But I think they just release a certain number of each figure. And then, surprise, surprise, some of them are much more popular than the other ones.
Yeah. So can you give me a 20-second rundown about what the hell Amiibos are?
Okay.
Exactly.
It's kind of difficult to describe. And every description that I've read of them is kind of weird and vague. But it's basically a little tiny action figure that has little microchips and whatnot in the base. And you can get additional content for your games by, how do I describe it?
Scanning them somehow.
Yeah, you scan it into the system somehow.
Okay.
It's have you ever seen those Skylander things?
Yeah.
Little action figures, you pop them in the little pedestal and then they show up in the game. You can kind of do that with Amiibos, and it's supposed to be accessible for Wii U and the new 3DS.
Okay, so you have an action figure that you scan in to get some sort of benefit in the game. How is that different from just getting a QR code or something? And
You
scanning?
have a piece of plastic.
Okay, but is any information like stored in the amiibo or?
Yes, and apparently you can only store information for one game at a time. So if you have a little Mario amiibo, the Mario is of course connected to a bunch of different games.
Okay.
So you can like use it for Mario Party, you can use it for Smash Brothers. If you save information onto your little Mario action figure or your little amiibo for Smash Brothers, and then you say, "Hey, I want to use Mario for Mario Party," you're going to have to delete that Smash Brothers information.
Wow, that sounds a lot like something Nintendo would do.
Right?
That doesn't sound appealing at all.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
Honestly, I would just buy them because they're action figures.
Yeah.
I'm already throwing down like $30 for action figures. Might as well have it give me additional content.
So Nintendo is having some issues, supply and demand issues.
Yes, a lot of them. And it's they're discontinuing some action figures entirely. They're releasing new versions of popular figures. They're changing their entire infrastructure for this whole amiibo thing, is what I've read so far. And there's also this weird black market created for the rare amiibos.
Nice.
Like the first generation amiibos that sold out within like a couple of weeks. People are now selling those back at just like absurd rates.
This whole thing is just Japanese people being weird, man.
Well, that's Nintendo in a nutshell,
Yeah,
right?
I dig it.
But the
Alex digs it.
amiibos are popular over here, so it's not just Japanese people.
Are they
doing-
popular here?
They're
Yeah.
crazy popular here.
Yeah, they're super. That's the whole thing. So Nintendo said that they gave reasons why they can't manufacture new amiibos very quickly. Was it just to the article?
They said that the manufacturing process was very complicated because of the technology within the action figure itself, and apparently a few of the models are like hand sculpted.
Wow.
So I'm like, hot damn, that does sound
Man,
tough.
there's some marketing just genius behind that because
Have they ever heard of a 3D printer?
yeah, haven't they ever? I'd love to see Nintendo go and pitch amiibos on Shark Tank. So, how are you going to make these? Oh, we're going to make them by hand. And they'd be like, oh, no, we'll fucking manufacture them for 2 cents a piece and blah, blah, blah. You know, what the hell is Nintendo thinking? They're a giant company. Why can't they get their shit together even for something this simple, you know?
I would
Nintendo
like
just
to
doesn't make
follow up
sense.
on that and like read how they really define hand sculpted, because I doubt there's just like some adorable tiny Japanese guy like carefully whittling away at each of his action figures. So I want to see like, what does hand sculpted involve?
Probably
Yeah.
just painting, I would guess.
Oh
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, if I had to
Would we
venture
not
a
call that
guess.
hand painting?
No,
Does that still count?
Yeah, I don't know.
it's not as cool sounding.
Nintendo is just, you know, they just do their weird thing. They're in their own little world, and they don't really run business like everybody else does. And that's not a good thing. I'm not saying that in a good way. It's not good to be unique like that because they're just wrong a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and skip ahead in the news a little bit here, so we can get the show on the road a little bit. Let's go straight to the story about Notch post Minecraft. I guess, do you want to? You kind of read this article. There's a big article in Forbes about his name is Marcus Pearson. I guess we'll get corrected on that later. I don't know.
I like calling him Person. He doesn't sound like a real person with the last name of Person.
Okay, let's call him Marcus Person. Weird spelling. Okay, so
It's like Joe Human.
it's a big Forbes article about his life after Microsoft's sale. And Alex, you read this article, so what? Give us the rundown on the article.
It's pretty much just the background of what Minecraft is for all these random 67-year-old people reading Forbes. So it's like, oh, it's like Legos, but for your computer. And then all the rich guys reading Forbes are like, oh, yes, I see Legos, but for my computer. So that was actually a very large part of the article.
Trying to describe Minecraft to
Yes,
Forbes
just trying to
readers.
explain Minecraft to Forbes readers.
Gotcha.
But it also goes on about person's personal life.
Okay.
Person's personal life. But
Like what he's done with all his money.
pretty
since-
much what he's done with all of his money. And he's just become a very rich person who doesn't know how to deal with being a rich person.
Yeah.
It just goes on about how he's spending his money in some very fiscally irresponsible ways.
Like what? What's an example?
Okay, like, you know how everyone talks about how when like pro athletes are done being pro athletes, they blow all their money on like
Yeah.
booze and hookers and mansions and stuff like that within like 5 years of retiring.
Yeah.
Notch is going the way of NFL.
Really?
He's like going big. He bought a giant mansion and he's filling it with all kinds of like eccentric rich people shit. And apparently he's spent over $180,000 just in nightclub attendance.
Well, he's European, right? That's like a thing in Europe.
Makes perfect sense.
Them and their weird nightclub bullshit.
There was a huge bit about how he's trying to find saucy ladies now and not having too much luck.
Really?
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
Really? Because usually there's multiple tickets to getting the saucy ladies. One is to have personality and looks. The other is to have money, and so he's definitely got the money side covered.
I have the former.
Of course. Well, it goes without saying, Jared.
I mean, I would assume that it's just that, oddly enough, he might not be looking for women that want him for his money. It's the kind of ladies that he might be attracted to and be interested in.
Yeah, okay.
He said that he had tried Tinder and didn't have any luck, and then he tried Tinder in his homeland. I think it was Sweden.
But Tinder is purely a hookup site, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah, explain Tinder to me, because I, as a married person,
It's an app, for just I want to fuck that person. Oh, I want to fuck that person.
Hold on. So wait, it's just for hookups, though, right? Or is it
No.
actual relationship finding?
I hear that a lot of people use it for actual relationship finding, although I might be a bad source for Tinder information because I have never had a Tinder.
Okay.
Sometimes I think about making one, though, and then just creating a profile for a piece of pizza.
I bet you somebody's probably done it.
Somebody's
They've probably been
going
beaten
to
the punch
just
on
be
that one.
I'd swipe on that. I'd fuck that pizza. I want to see who would do it.
You should do something more just kind of over,
If you filmed it, it would be a really bizarre porno.
the Tinder date with pizza.
Oh, God, it's got to be out there.
It's got to be. That's exactly.
Pizza sex is definitely a real fetish.
Oh, bullshit.
I don't know. Ombudsman.
Look it up. Well, I have a little clip from the interview from the Forbes article here. Notch talking why he kind of got out of the gaming scene. So let's play that real quick.
And then this big thing happened with the Yule incident where people thought they would change the rules and
So, oh shit, I think I started the clip from the beginning.
Oh, you idiot.
Damn it, I figured out how to use this thing. Okay, so the gist is there was this big drama with the Yule, as he calls it, the end user license agreement.
Yule.
The Yule.
What's
And
the Yule?
people thought they had changed it, but when really they haven't. So that's what he's explaining
And
here.
then this big thing happened with the Yule incident where people thought they would change the rules and
the end user license agreement.
Yeah.
The interviewer's like, yeah, this is how you say it, idiot.
Then,
Oh, god damn it, I started it over
happened with the
again.
Can you
Yule
turn it up a little
incident
bit?
where people thought they would change
Oh,
the
I'll turn it up in post. Oh, wait.
rules.
The end
Everywhere.
user license agreement.
Yeah.
Right.
Which had always been in place, but what actually happened was that some people brought it up so we're not allowed to do this and that. And we said no. And we said no. So we looked it over and actually made the rules more lenient. But people still got very upset with me personally, even though I wasn't even working on it anymore.
So he's just basically describing how people got really upset over this. This Yule.
I can't tell he's not speaking English.
What is his country of origin? It's got to be
Like I said, I thought it was Sweden.
I
Let's see
think
here.
Sweden sounds right.
He sounds
Sweden.
Swedish.
Okay. So anyway, he that happened, and let me just. This is going to be one of the things we kind of talk about a lot on this podcast is people who just like to get up in arms about stuff for no reason, and this is one of those kind of things. He's he described here. Apparently, people found at one point some things in the end user license agreement for Minecraft they didn't like, and all of a sudden they exploded on him, and did the typical thing that gamers
After playing
do
it for 5 years.
Yeah. Oh my God! You say this, and this in your agreement. Oh, I can't believe that sort of thing. So here he's basically talking about seeing all that, how it made him react.
I just figured I don't know if I want to put up with this anymore. And then I saw the This Is Phil Fish video, which is a YouTube documentary about a guy called Phil Fish, and it talks about
The guy called Phil Fish.
This guy.
Phil Fish documentary about a guy called Phil Fish.
how internet personalities and famous people aren't really, they're not talking to that actual person when they're talking to the person. They're talking about the idea.
I know what he's
of the
talking about here.
person. How does
Swedish
disconnect when you
bullshit.
respond personally to stuff that's not really intended to be personal.
Not really
And
intended
I
to be
kind of just
personal.
figured maybe I don't have to put up with this.
I think
So
he's
just
German.
When that happened and everyone's giving me so much crap online, I just went, no, this is not worth it anymore.
So
just
the reason I play that is because here you have the guy who basically made the biggest indie game of all time, and he sees all this bullshit he gets put through just from people who play his game who seem for some reason gamers just feel like they're entitled to talk as much shit as they want about the developers and just treat them horribly and just make wild assumptions about their intentions and whatnot, and just basically just be horrible people to developers. And they don't just do it to indie developers; they do it to bigger developers too. But it has a bigger effect on indie developers because they're not prepared for it. And so this made the guy who made the biggest indie game of all time be like, screw it, I don't need you guys, I'm out. Cash out with Microsoft.
I feel like indie developers are also particularly vulnerable to that kind of stuff because reviewers have like a direct pipeline to them. They're not going through like a giant company. They have like the email address of the person who created the game.
They know your name?
Yes.
Yep. No, I mean, my personal experience is that, I mean, my wife was stalked on Facebook. People were sending her weird messages trying to convince her that they knew me and so they should friend her, or that they wanted her to friend them. And all sorts of weird crap we'll talk about at some point. But so yeah, once your name and your address, they can find your address and all that sort of stuff is out there, it just gets weird. And they, and for some reason, like for example, here's a quick example. At one point, people found out my Xbox gamers tag, and so if I was playing Xbox, or just one time I was playing Xbox, and I got messages from this guy. I was like, "Why the hell are you playing, Call of Duty right now when you should be working on the game and making the next update?" And blah blah blah. I'm like, "Oh, really?" So it's just stuff like that where they just feel entitled to your time and your life and everything you do. But
was he defending Phil Fish?
Yes.
I think so.
I didn't really understand what he was talking about.
So Phil Fish,
Phil Fish is indefensible.
No. Phil Fish is totally defensible, and that's what I wanted to talk about.
Ridiculous.
No. Phil Fish is 100% defensible, and here's why. If you do any sort of research into this guy or look at this guy, he's somebody who has like emotional and like mental issues. I mean, he's somebody who's unstable. Case in point.
Phil Fish.
Let me play this little clip from Indie Game, the movie, where Phil Fish was featured quite heavily. This is him talking about development of his game.
I'm on the line, me, like my name, my career. If this fails, I'm done. Like, I don't think I'll work in games again. And it's not just a game. Like, I'm so closely attached to it. It's me. Like, it's my ego. My perception of myself is at risk. This is my identity. It's Fez. I'm Guy making Fez. That's...
Wait for it.
That's about it.
If
that doesn't work out, well then...
What would happen to you personally if you couldn't finish the game?
I would kill myself. I'm dead. I would kill myself. That's what that's like my incentive to finish it, is then I get to not kill myself.
So, okay.
Good God, Jared.
Jesus, Jared.
Cold-hearted son of a bitch.
Seriously, what the hell? Though my point is that this is not a guy who is together. This is not a guy who should be exposed to the public.
He should be making a game in the first place.
No, but the thing is that at the end of the day, regardless of what weird opinions he has, regardless of what strong points he or strong controversial things he says on Twitter, he should not have received and continue to receive the amount of hate that he does. That's my problem. It's not that the guy's not weird and could be criticized and this and that. It's that the response he's received is not anywhere near proportional to what he's done. And what he's done is basically say some controversial things and this and that, and try to defend other people who are victims of the same hate that he has received, because he understands that it's crazy. So I'm not saying that I like the guy. I'm just saying that
I feel like we're having deja vu here because we talked about this on a previous podcast, didn't we?
We talked about this on a podcast that was actually never released. So we have not talked about this before.
I remember making fun of that clip extensively with you.
There's another thing here. I'm just going to throw this out there. One more Phil Fish clip because kind of illustrates, first of all, what a weird dude he is, and kind of that's not somebody I'd want to hang out with, but also just kind of the pressure he's under just from people demanding he release his game.
I'm working on it as hard as I can all the time. It's like, what's taking so long? What the fuck are you doing, Phil? The
guy sounds like an idiot. But that's actually probably a pretty accurate description of what the people who are demanding him to finish his game sound like. So I can't fault him too hard on that one.
I'm just really happy that we have the same dumb person voice.
Yo, you do. Shit, maybe you're like Phil Fish.
Oh God.
Like your distant cousin or something. I don't know.
I was just so mentally traumatized that I underwent like gender surgery.
Yeah.
Exactly. If this podcast doesn't do well, you're just gonna kill yourself.
I'm doing the best I can here. I don't hear people bitch about fucking Valve taking. Well, no, they do bitch about Valve taking forever, but not as much as Fez. And there's hundreds of people there. Eco took 5 years to make. Red Dead Redemption, 1,000 people, 5 years. GTA 4, 1,000 people, 5 years. Nobody bitches about that. 1,000 people.
So what he's saying is very true. Is that basically whatever you're doing as an indie developer, people demand, and they do it to big studios too. But again, when you're one guy, like you said, you're one person, and they have a direct line to you. It's intense. It's not a small thing. It's a big thing.
And you're being held to the same standards as studios that have like a few more $1 million than you and a few thousand more employees.
Right. So they
you.
have tons of resources. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I'm gonna finish this clip.
There's 2 of us here. It's taking too long.
I love that impression.
Fuck off. Jesus fucking Christ. Like. It really gets to me. I guess, that's the price you pay for being indie and being the one guy that people know is making the game, is that you open yourself to these kinds of personal attacks.
So I'm going to stop the clip right there. Basically, my point with this whole Phil Fish thing is that, yeah, the guy's weird and all that, but he has a point here, basically saying that it's not proportional to what he's doing. And yeah, the guy has done a bunch of weird stuff, but I'm not. You can agree with the guy, or you can agree with some things he's done, and not have to like have a blanket I hate him or I like him sort of thing going on. So I know a lot of people hate Phil Fish, so it's probably an unpopular opinion to have.
No, I agree with that point too, most definitely. And it's not even just a game review thing; it's just an internet thing.
Yes.
You could be producing art, you could be producing blogs, like videos, doesn't matter. You will like slightly inconvenience or peeve one of your viewers, and in return they will tell you that they know where you live and they're going to go burn your house down.
Right. Or worse, if you actually piss off the wrong people, they'll stalk you. I mean, they'll try
they'll stalk the shit out of you.
They will try and basically destroy you in any way they can. It's not a matter of trying to silence you because they don't like you. It's a matter of trying to destroy you to have some sort of weird victory. I don't know. It's weird. So anyway, on that note, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with the halftime checkup with one of our new people, Sarah. All right, be right back. All right, so that's the halftime portion of the show, introduction.
What game is that from?
That's from Tecmo Bowl.
I dig it.
We usually we're to try to do this at the half point of the show and the end of the show, but this has kind of gone on a little long. It's a little learning episode here, so we're just going to end the show after this. But we're going to go to Sarah Peters, who is our ombudsman.
Hello.
And she is here to tell us what she thought about what we were talking about and what we got wrong.
All right. Thing y'all fucked up on. Number 1 out of quite a few. So small-time game reviewers are the ones that are doing these reviews that are the bad reviews. It's not just any reviewers. It's not large-scale reviewers. It's generally the small-time game reviewers don't have a lot of a base, don't have a lot of people coming to their website. They want to rake in views.
Oh, who are doing the bad review scores to get views.
Right.
Those are the ones who came forward anyway in that article.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's at like small to medium sites.
Yeah, and a lot of them, they don't have any sort of they're not certified reporters. They haven't had any training. They don't know what they're talking
Well,
about.
technically, if you read what IGN and other sites, but they're not really certified reporters. They don't really have any training either.
Yeah.
They're kind of just dudes playing games. But yeah.
But these guys, basically, they're just not accredited whatsoever, and
all right,
they're just raking in views. For their websites and to make profit off of it. So
I feel like gaining credit in the journalism community is pretty sketch when it comes to game reviews, though, because saying that you have like you're an accredited journalist in the game review industry is like saying you're a landscaper when you mow lawns at the age of 5. Like,
right. No, you're right.
Hey, Some of those 5-year-olds are really talented. I was a talented 5-year-old.
At landscaping?
No.
Okay.
At interior design, I thought it was the shit. My parents had some chick come over from Ethan Allen to redesign our living room, and she helped me with my Sims game.
Oh, not to say that I'm still caught up on the journalism thing. Not to say that all game reviewers like are just shit and have like no prior experience. I'm just saying that a lot of people sneak in like quote unquote accolades and none really exist.
Right, it's very
all
true.
game reviewers are shitlords with no previous experience. That is what we've learned today, children.
Boom, us.
It doesn't make a bit of difference, guys. The balls are inert.
The balls are inert. All right, so what else did we talk about and get wrong?
All right, so you were talking about the what are they called? They
Amoebas?
Amoebas, yes.
I'm correcting our ombudsman.
Amoebas are microbes.
Amoebas are the female ones.
I thought amoebros. Okay. So the amoebos, you were saying that they were claimed to be hand sculpted, and I thought that was quite hilarious about what you said with the Shark Tank, and they would not make it. And you were asking if they could be hand sculpted, and the funny thing about law and lawyers is you can make anything be technically hand sculpted if you try hard enough. So they can pretty much claim that, you know, if someone takes it by hand and puts like the blob into the machine, it's hand sculpted. They've touched it by hand.
Oh, so they might just be using the hand sculpted thing. Like, it's a total excuse.
No,
they could be like producing these in a factory.
The whole point of their statement was, well, we can't really necessarily go back and remanufacture some of these amiibos because they were hand sculpted. So they're like trying to say
they're covering their asses.
I don't know what the hell they're doing. They're Nintendo. Like I said, alternate universe.
It's bullshit. It's basically bullshit because their hand sculpted doesn't necessarily have to be. I mean, as you said before, it's not some little Japanese man sitting there with some little, you know, sculpting tool like, I'm on my porch, I'm so cool. I mean, it's probably a bunch of people in a factory line and they're making these things. And
yeah.
When they say like, oh, production got pushed back 7 months because these are all carefully hand sculpted.
They're not carefully hand sculpted.
Okay.
No. All right. And some of my favorite quotes from the next article, which was with the Minecraft.
Oh, yeah. Person.
And he's Swedish, by the way. Someone said someone said, oh, he's German. No, he's not German.
That was
Jared.
I just said he sounded sort of German at that moment.
He doesn't sound German. No. German people, they talk with, like, the back of their mouth. And, like, it's like, okay, so if you take, okay, this is off topic.
You're talking to the mic too while you're...
Sorry.
Yeah, let's get the
this
accent recorded.
This is off topic. Can I actually say this?
Yeah, say this. What?
Okay. Basically, if you
Jesus.
like...
No! It's a podcast. Say it!
If you, like, take your mouth and you kind of, like, put it into, like, a smile formation a little bit, and then you talk from the back of your mouth a little bit, that kind of... And then... That's kind of a little more what the accent for German sounds like.
Can you demonstrate this?
I can't. No.
Wait. You're trying to do the whole actress thing and you can't demonstrate a German accent?
I'm not going to actually do it right now.
You doing Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I don't want to...
Say, get to the chopper.
Stop whining. Stop it.
I got everything here.
I mean, I could, but at the same time, like, I'm not... My phonetics training is not that great for that. I mean, like...
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so anything else we got wrong on that piece?
Moving on. Yeah, there was not a lot you got wrong in that piece. You know, I think that he made some good points. Fans feel entitled to your time, and that there's a huge demand on developers, and the indie gamers, they're expected to output things the same rate as these large companies, and they just can't do it. And I think that he did make some points there that the expectations on them are sometimes...
By he, you mean Phil Fish?
Yeah. Yeah, Phil Fish.
I just want to make it clear that somebody else is agreeing with Phil Fish. I'm
Even
not alone
though
on this island.
he is a giant KFC bucket of cray-cray, I mean, he's got some good points.
Yeah. I mean, the guy is crazy. I mean, that suicide clip, I mean...
He wants to be a suicide girl.
Jared and I watched that... Jared and I watched that whole movie because we well, last time when we were recording these things, we
You
reviewed
call that
it.
a movie? It was a documentary.
No, well, whatever it was, and the whole thing was boring.
I thought a documentary was like a subset of movie.
It is.
No!
It's like a genre.
It's
No,
a genre.
it's better. Because it's real. God.
Okay, so anyway, Jared and I watched it, and the only part of it that's worth watching are the Phil Fish portions, because the whole Meat Boy thing was boring as shit.
We actually fast forward and did not watch the rest.
Yeah, we kind of just fast forwarded the Phil Fish portions.
Oh, I quite liked it.
No, really? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, it's you, the hipster. What did you like about it?
I just thought it was really interesting to see things from their perspective.
Maybe we already have that perspective, so we didn't give a shit.
That could very well be true.
In our perspective, actually made sense.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of cool seeing the release day, the Meat Boy guys on the release day. When
Yeah.
It was like they're kind of looking at their bank account, all the money coming in and whatnot. Because I was kind of like that when the game went on Steam the first day. Like, oh shit, look at all these transactions. So I understood that. But
I thought those guys were actually pretty cool, the Meat Boy guys.
I didn't say
they seem like chill
hold on.
guys.
I didn't say they weren't cool. I said it was boring as shit. So yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry I interrupted you. I don't know what you're talking about. You're agreeing with me.
I was done, yeah.
You were done agreeing
With you.
with me. All right.
Yeah.
So we're good.
It's never done. We're never done agreeing with you.
Absolutely good. That's why you were hired. Let's see. What else do we have to talk about here? Because we kind of want to end the show because we're down to 3 mics due to a technical issue. So Jared doesn't have a mic right now.
It's very cute that you guys are sharing a mic, though.
Yeah, I know.
We're really cozy right now. It's great.
Super cozy.
I've coined some beautiful terms today. One of them is bromosexual.
Bromosexual.
I think it fits your situation very well right
Jesus Christ.
Well, thanks for that.
You bromosexual. Just like ladies that grow old with just like 10 cats are heterosexual.
Heterosexual?
That just sounds like weird bestiality.
Yeah,
Isn't that just a crazy cat lady?
Yeah, heterosexual.
Oh, real quickly, here's what we got to talk about. We're going to talk about one more little thing before we wrap this up. The new 3DS.
No, fuck it.
And Majora's Mask.
I like the 3DS. It's a good.
So, Alex, I played this right when it came out. I bought a new 3DS and played it. But then you played through a bit of Majora's Mask this past week. So what do you think?
Okay, I'm going to lay it out there first. It has been final project week at my college. So I only got to play for like a total of 5 hours.
Get your priorities straight. Jesus.
I know. I'm a miserable adult. But so far, I'm really enjoying this port. There were a few small adjustments that I felt a little bit ambiguous about. Like, many of you probably already heard that they changed up the boss fights. Did you realize that while you were playing?
You know, it had been so long, I didn't really remember. The only one that I remembered that was really different was like the third one, the fish fight. But anyway, yeah, so I didn't really explicitly notice. I knew they had been changed, and I went and looked at what they had changed. So it wasn't big enough to really blow me away, I guess.
I felt like I was playing on easy mode with the first boss, and I was just like, hold on a second. I remember this being much more difficult, and I can't tell if it is easier for me now because the game itself is easier or because it's, like 10 years later and I've developed a certain amount of coordination and dexterity. So I went and looked up the differences between the 3DS Majora's Mask first boss and the original N64 one, and they just toned it down a lot, which makes me wonder how much they've toned down other aspects of the game.
I think it's pretty true to the original version, apart from those sort of those little changes. Like, for example, I think that one way they kind of changed, or one thing they changed, was they switched location of a heart container with a jar, so you get a jar earlier rather than.
Oh yeah, I did love that.
So I mean, little things like that. What happened is the director apparently sat down and just played through the game. Like the guy who directed it back in the day was like, man, what the hell was I thinking here, here, and here? And he just kind of made some subtle tweaks. And apparently the biggest changes are to the boss fights. So that's where you're going to notice it the most. And the first one was kind of totally redone. So
Gotcha. I appreciate a couple of the smaller changes, like they added more owl statues. I really did not like that they removed the quick save because it seemed very counterintuitive when you're porting a console game to handheld. Seems like quick save is very important for a handheld system.
No, but remember the problem with the quick save was, or not the problem, but the thing about it was that when you reloaded it, it disappeared. So you had to finish the day to save completely and stuff.
And that was okay with me because, oh gosh, how do I describe this? The quick save being deleted afterwards is a fine mechanic for me because it gives
sense of urgency.
not even a sense of urgency. It just allows you to pick up and put down the game as you please, but at the same time, it still gives you incentive to play well and not die. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if I have to, I mean, I'm playing my 3DS when I'm riding the bus, so for like 20-minute intervals, and not having the quick save option just means that I have to close the 3DS and I'm losing battery life. And granted, sleep mode, you get like 48 hours in it, but...
The quick save was you could push start and save anytime. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you could start and save anytime, and then when you loaded the game back up, the quick save was gone. So if you died, you didn't go back to the quick save, you went back to like the solid save.
But the thing is, along with that, you could not save at all, like a permanent save, unless you restarted the 3 days. I don't know if you remember that, because that was the thing.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, so they changed that.
Oh,
so you couldn't save, period, unless you use a Song of Time and went back to the first day.
Oh man, see, that does make a difference. But
so
now I just wish that they had incorporated both like the new saving method and the quick save, like a different quick save.
To me, I think so many people, and I didn't bother me because I generally just close my 3DS and I don't really play like on the bus and shit like you because I don't ride the bus because that's scary.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Motion sickness everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So I usually have mine by a charger, so I'm not worried about that. I understand that though. That makes sense. That perspective.
And there's just this weird obsessive part of me that's just like, I don't want to hurt my battery. I need to turn my 3DS off.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, suck it. Just bring a charger. Get him.
You don't have an outlet on the bus.
Bring a charger. How long are you on the goddamn bus?
You would be surprised.
I would be.
Another aspect that really bugged me about playing the 3DS was I really wish that I had a new 3DS because I really want that little C-stick on the right side to toggle my view.
Is that I bought the new 3DS because I thought, for sure, I'm going to want that C-stick. And I was going to buy one eventually anyway. And so I figured, well, I might as well buy one now because I'm going to play through this game. And I didn't really use it. The whole game. And I thought for sure, that's literally the reason why I bought the new 3DS so soon. I thought for sure I was going to use that C-stick. Didn't use it.
Oh, man. I don't know. I think I would use it a little bit more. The viewing mode just felt so clunky without it.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. I don't know why. And the C-stick itself was not like super great to use for that.
Oh, did it just feel weird, or?
Yeah, it just wasn't. Maybe I was just so okay with the basic mechanics of changing the camera. C-stick, I could take it or leave it in that particular situation. I'm sure it's gonna be okay down the road, hopefully.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I don't know why they made a little goddamn nub and not just another friggin', stick. Like the other one.
Yeah.
Whatever you call it.
It is weird. It's like reminiscent of those really outdated laptop nipples.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, I don't know.
Another note on Majora's Mask. Sorry, I'm getting ahead a bit too fast.
No.
Okay. I just want to talk about the graphics because they're very pretty and I approve.
Yes.
Graphic updates are always nice. I don't know if it merits paying another like $35 for a game that you've already played or perhaps already owned, but it's pretty. So
I want to play that game now.
Oh yeah, you can play it. Yeah. When if Alex wants to take it back though, she's welcome to finish it. I don't want to make you stop playing the game.
It's too late. I was like, goodbye forever, Ben's Majora's Mask, and I deleted my file named Bert.
Whoa, that's hardcore. You deleted your file.
You only have 3 save slots. It's important.
Yeah,
that's prime real estate right there.
I beat the game and I 100%ed it, so I'm gonna play. Oh man, you just screwed yourself. That's all right. All right, Sarah, the game is yours.
Like I said, finals week, only 5 hours.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up because this has gone on for quite a while. So thank you for listening, and Alex and Sarah, thank you for joining the team.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, me too.
yeah, you too.
I'll fix my whole aesthetic. I'll fix my aesthetic.
Aesthetic?
Aesthetic.
I'll fix. Sounds pretty Canadian to me.
I'll fix my aesthetic.
Well, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, take care.